Okay, we'll call to order the Raymore Parks and Rec Board meeting Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Present.
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 Excellent, thank you. Next, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to personal appearances, presentation. Seeing none, we will move on to item number 5, consent agenda. We need to approve the park board minutes for February 22nd, 2022.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion we accept the minutes from Park Board meeting of February 22nd, 2022, as posted.
I second it.
Okay, hearing a first and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and approve the agenda. All those in favor? Passes 5-0, 4 absent. Next, we'll move to staff reports. Director?
Thank you, sir. I will ask Superintendent Gibbs to give a recreation report.
Thank you, Mr. Mustine. Good evening, members of the board. I have submitted my report for your review. I do have a couple highlights that I wanted to bring forward to you. This week we do have a spring break camp, basketball camp, or spring break basketball and a spring break soccer camp. About 30 kids in the basketball, about 15 kids in the soccer. These are half-day camps, so we, all through the week, and so we're kind of excited that registrations were pretty strong for that. Also wanted to point out that lost my train of thought there. Todd Brennan has been quite busy this past couple weeks, and I wanted to bring to your attention some of the upcoming registrations as opposed or as compared to what we had last year. Volleyball practices began the week of March 7th. This year we have an increase of 43 participants over last year. In youth soccer, we have an increase of 90 participants over what we had last year, and that brings us up to 332 players. And youth flag football has an increase of 35 players over what we had in the past. So the and all tiny soccer sessions are jam-packed full, and t-ball sessions are also packed as well. So the athletic side is just kind of knocking it out of the park this year, which is a pretty exciting thing. I'm going to keep mine short tonight. This concludes my report. I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Superintendent Gibbs? I do have one, because that was incredibly short, so let's add some to yours. Can you give us a little update on our social leagues? How are we doing with those? Are those still existing, and are they growing?
The social leagues, yeah, you caught me off guard here.
I don't necessarily need exact numbers, but if you can give us just kind of how it's progressing, and is it growing and getting more popular, would you guess?
Without knowing the actual numbers, I would say yeah, they are going this year. Greta, do you remember 35-ish?
And we are looking for coaches right now.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, 35-ish registrations so far this year, and as Greta just said, that we are still looking for coaches for that.
Next time I'll ask Greta for those questions, and I'll cut out the middleman.
Hey, the truth is no.
Thank you, thank you. Anybody else for Superintendent Gibbs? Okay, thank you, sir. Director?
Thank you. I'll ask Superintendent Rulo to give a parks report.
I'm going to do something a little different tonight. Like I said, I'm going to talk a little longer than Jimmy usually does. A lot of nights, you guys, I sit here and you guys praise me on how well the parks look. I take that credit and I try to go back and give it to my guys. I know a lot of the times that falls through, so what I wanted to do, when everybody's here, there's a lot of people on the board that have never been introduced to our staff, so I kind of want to just introduce my staff to you all, give you a little bit of their history, how long they've been here, and then maybe some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that the park guys do that the normal eyes don't see. Just raise your hand whenever I say your name, please. Jeff Schmill, he's been here 24 years. Jeff's our crew leader, and he's in charge of the daily routine and all of our work orders and outdoor projects. Eddie Gomez, he's been here 20 years in the parks, 22 years with the city. Eddie's a maintenance 2 worker, and he's usually the one in charge of our mowing crew during the summers. Cody York, Cody's been here just over a year. Cody's a maintenance 1 worker. Cody does a little bit of everything when mowing, painting, construction projects, concrete work. During the summer, he's kind of our jack of all trades, kind of fill-in guy. Jacob Wicke, Jacob's been here just over 1 year. Jacob is a maintenance 1 worker. And Jacob is going to be in charge of soccer this year. He was in charge of baseball all last year, did an excellent job. And if you guys are ever lucky, he might dance for you. Nick Cook has been here just under 1 year. Nick's a maintenance 1 worker, and Nick is going to be in charge of the baseball this year and most of the tournaments. Just some of the things that you don't see these guys, what they do. Out of the approximately 300 acres of parkland, we got 6 parks, 4 linear parks, 10 baseball fields, 7 to 8 soccer game fields, 4 to 5 practice soccer fields, 3 to 4 flag football fields, 1 disc golf course, 6 tennis courts, 1 basketball court, 1 spray ground, and 10 playgrounds/play pods. Some of the things that you don't see these guys do, and an ice rink, forgot about that. Some of the things that you don't see these guys do behind the scenes, they mow, weed eat, they clean restrooms, they set up for special events, they clean shelters for reservations, they plant flowers, they mulch flower beds, they pick up trash throughout the parks, they plant trees, they trim trees, they cut trees down, they mulch trees. Each one of these guys are on call for weeks at a time for a 24-hour carrying a phone. They prep for baseball tournaments. Excuse me. They work the baseball tournaments. They paint soccer and flag football fields. They drag and line baseball fields. We try to take care of around 25 islands throughout the city. They spray chemicals. They paint facilities as needed, usually after summer camp. They build pergolas. They replace shelters. They hang sponsorship banners. They work special events. Some of them are mascots sometimes. They do day-to-day maintenance on equipment. They build rock walls. They help snowplow. They shovel snow from the facilities. They quote and purchase equipment and materials. They attend meetings. They winterize restrooms. They fix broken pipes, work fall festival, and recarpet pitching mounds. It might seem like I'm bragging on my guys a little bit, because I am, because these guys back there get all the credit for the reason why our parks look so nice. So I just wanted you guys to see them.
We also maintain our facilities center
In that too. So just wanted to give them the congratulations and the compliments that you guys always give me. So keep it up, guys. With that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions? First off, I want to say that wasn't for you. That was for you guys. If he took it back, we're always saying take these back to you guys. I think he wrote it in his own scrapbook, so I'm sorry about that. You guys have any questions? I think the only thing we're looking for, I know Jeff and Eddie had to do it, but Cody, Jacob, and Nick, we need you to stand up and give the maintenance workers creed that you've been taught when you first started, and we'll wait until you get that done. So, and a lot of us are hungry. So, no, seriously, thank you guys for all you do. We appreciate it. A lot of the behind the scenes people make this great and make our jobs easy, so thank you. Director?
All right, thank you. Obviously, goes without being said that these guys take care, and we don't do anything and provide anything without the work they do every day. The projects that we just talked about over the next 6 years, those are the guys that take care of it. The projects I'm about to talk about, they're the ones taking care of them. You know, for a crew that's only, there's 5 of them. You don't really count Steve as a maintenance crew. I've never seen so much work be able to get done out of 5 guys. I mean, we've got other departments, you know, Belton, Lee Summit, all around us, and our parks are just right on par with everything, if not better than what they do. And when we tell them who we have and what we have, number-wise, those other guys are just like, how in the world do you guys get all this done? That's how we get it done right there. So, pretty proud of those guys. Moving forward, Centerview, just a couple of updates and then we'll move on. Wanted to update you on Centerview project. Very close to being wrapped up. The end of the contract is at the end of this month, so those guys are working pretty hard to get that done. Would like to have one of our spring meetings over there so we can go show you the boardwalk and the trail, and it looks really, really sharp. The landscaping project of it is that started. That's another thing that they do is irrigation for this facility, Centerview, and the rack that these guys take care of that Steve didn't mention. So, but the Centerview landscaping, that's already started. We're working through that. We began interviews with the consultants for the rack expansion. We'll do 2-part interviews. This week we're meeting with their team leaders to actually walk the facility. Jimmy and I are walking with them, showing them the facility, telling them some of the things that we would like to see, some of the challenges that we currently have, so that they can go back to their team and come back with a proposal that's actually relative and it's not just a waste of everybody's time. So that looks to be like a pretty good process. And then the Hawk Ridge Park, the west soccer side, those bids are due tomorrow, so hopefully at our next meeting we'll have come with some good pricing and with a company that we're pleased to announce a contract with. So that is my staff report. We are happy to answer any questions that the board might have for us.
Any questions for the director? Nope. Thank you, Director.
I do actually have one more update. The food truck, is that still? Okay. So just a quick update is the March 25th, this is in my packet and it's on our Facebook page and website, is the Friday Food Fest is the 25th at Recreation Park, 6 to 8:30. And then the following, in a couple weeks, we'll have the Raymore Unicorn Day and then the Easter egg hunt, which why I wanted to bring up the Easter egg hunt is for the past, Jeff, help me out, what's it been? Easter egg started in the 80s, long before me or Jeff or Eddie were here, but it's been at Memorial Park ever from the onset, and we are moving it to Recreation Park for the first time this year. Feel like that's going to be a nice venue for that and be able to spread out, better parking, better organizing. A lot of our problems with Memorial Park is that it was so big. One of the age groups was kind of over on the Arboretum side and really could hear nothing and wasn't involved in the event itself, where we're going to utilize the baseball fields and spreading that out. So if anybody asks you this year, that's why I want to bring it up. We are moving it to Recreation Park, and all the information's on our website. That concludes my staff report.
And just, I would like added that Vice Chair Manson told me that he would be happy for Unicorn Day to help out in any way he can. So
Nice.
I wrote that note down. Thank you.
We'll make sure and put him on the list.
Excellent.
Make sure you put Mr. Trotman's name on there also.
Okay, on that note, we'll move into new business. Action item A, J&M Displays, Budget Amendment. Director?
Okay, I will ask Superintendent Gibbs to report on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mustine, members of the board, good evening. In front of you, you have a agenda item information form involving J&M Displays. They are the company that do our pyrotechnics show each year. The Spirit of America. God, am I getting that right? what is happening tonight? Spirit of America show that, this is where we live, that we will have on July 1st of this year. We received information earlier this year from the company saying that there was going to be an escalation in the costs of being able to put on that show like we have enjoyed in the past. That cost is $6,530. Originally and normally we spend $16,000. That gives us a show that's a minimum of 16 minutes long with no more than 3 seconds between shells. 6,000, and this increase is a cost that is being passed on directly from their suppliers. So the tariffs for Chinese goods that are coming in, and then also the shipping container costs. For example, they told us a normal shipping container is about $9,000 for their products. They now are paying anywhere between $40,000 and $50,000 for that same shipping container to bring product over. And these are things that we knew about. We didn't know that it was going to be this high. So we did reach out, or I did reach out to the company and asked if there was any options of changes. They did give us a couple different options. You'll see those as options A, B, and C. Option A is maintaining the same shell count. So we would have the same shells, the same type of show that we had last year. And that includes the escalation of $6,500. Excuse me, $5,350. Then we get to stop. Then we get to option B. That is the same dollar amount, but it is but reducing the number of shells. That takes us down to a show of approximately 10 minutes or so for $16,000. Option C was the same budget as last year, but then we are not having as big of shells, so they wouldn't go as high. And then there were fewer shells as well. So in this, we basically wanted to come to you and ask if to request a budget amendment in the amount of $5,350 to increase the funding for the 2022 event.
Any questions for Superintendent? I would throw out there that if you've ever been to the event, actually I live close to the park, so I've never came to the park. But it was amazing how many people came up to me from several other cities mentioning how great our show is, and they leave their cities to come to our show. So I'm glad that staff looks at a recommendation of increasing fees, although we never like that. I would hate to see the show be anything less, because there are people who come from like north of the river to see our show, and that's very impressive for me. I'll ask for a motion at this time, if there's no other questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
thank you for volunteering me on that last one.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'm making a motion for a budget amendment in the amount of $5,350 for the 2022 event. And that would bring us to a total for the cost of the event of $21,350. That was the motion.
And we got a second. So I've heard a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor? Passes unanimously, 5 for, 0 against, 4 absent. I'm good at counting. Action item B, skate park contract recommendation. Director?
Thank you, sir. Before you tonight is a recommendation to rebuild and relocate our current skate park facility in the amount of $225,000, or $225,000. There's a typo in your staff agenda item. I apologize for that. This project was budgeted in our CIP. It was competitively bid. We received 2 proposals, and staff has done a pretty thorough job of working through the proposals We also submitted in your packet a decision matrix that was recommended to help make that decision. And I will say that the decision was not an easy one to make because both proposals were excellent. Both companies are excellent, have a lot of opportunities. But when it came down to it, we are recommending American Ramp Company for two specific reasons. One is job references. Within their proposal, the references for American Ramp Company, there were several and excellent references, excellent projects that they've done all across the world. And number two is what we feel like is a customer service thing for us. We have worked with them in the past and they provide excellent customer service. And outside of that, pretty even in terms of the proposals. So this is our recommendation, and happy to answer any questions about the project. I will say a couple things. This will go, depending on what the board's decision is tonight, this will go before the council beginning next week for the first of two reads, and then we'll work through the tweaks, negotiations that need to occur in terms of just making sure that it fits and we get exactly what we want, and then we'll notice to proceed and start construction. So that concludes staff report. Happy to answer any questions.
Before I reach out for any questions, I want to thank staff. One of the things we asked is you guys to give us your recommendation, and I appreciate the hard work of comparing two great companies that were side by side and the extra work that we put on you to do that. It was a lot easier to look at as a board member because of that, so thank you. Any questions for the director? Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to make a couple of statements about it. The skate park is a big deal to me as being a person who was around when the first one was developed and being around for being improved. It's sort of sad that it got in disrepair the way it is, but I'm really happy to see that we're moving forward. And we have a good company here that's going to rebuild a park in a different location, but I think it's going to be a nice park. I had a lot of questions about the actual contract in this situation, and staff, specifically Nathan, has been answering my questions and helping me kind of through the process, so I do appreciate that, Nathan. And I am really just as a skateboarder still, and I'm just really excited for this, and I really just appreciate all the hard work everybody's been doing to get this park going. So,
Thanks, Dan. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I recommend we award a contract to American Ramp Company for the skateboard park.
I will second that motion.
Okay. Hearing a first and second, any discussion? Seeing no discussion, we'll go to vote. All those in favor? Passes unanimously, 5-0, 4 absent.
Thank you. I do want to, I forgot
Yes,
to
sir.
mention this in my staff report. I talked with IT Director Jim Mayberry today, and he and I went and drove the site. We actually will be able to put security cameras immediately on the facility from the rack with our point-to-point camera system, and there should be no cost for that until the rack expansion, where we plan on doing security cameras throughout the park system anyway. But that was one of the questions, was we have cameras on the Public Works, and would we have them at this location? And so yes, we will have them from the onset of the facility. So I want to make sure that got noted.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll move to action item C, fertilization of city facility grounds.
This or me?
Director?
Thank you, sir. Before you tonight is a contract for the fertilization program for the city grounds facilities, specifically the City Hall, Municipal Circle, Centerview grounds, and the rack. This is a program that we typically 3-quote year to year. Honestly, it's kind of cumbersome to have to three-quote that all the time when so many of our projects or our programs are on a 3-year contract. That is a 1-year contract with the ability to extend that contract for an additional 1 year 2 times, totaling 3 years, and then we rebid it. So what we did was we combined this, and we bid this out. We received two bids from True Green and Big Green, a local rainwater company, and honestly, it was one of the closer bids that we've ever seen, and it was another difficult one to go through because both are qualified. We've worked with both of them before. True Green has had this program for several years. Big Green mows the lawns and is our sponsor at Recreation Park. We have the Big Green Athletic Complex, but both are qualified candidates. It was down to under a $300 difference over a year period. And so we are recommending True Green for this first year of this 3-year contract in the amount of $5,182.59. I will also remind the council or the board that City Hall comes out of Buildings and Grounds, Centerview comes out of the Centerview budget, and the RAC comes out of the RAC budget. So that this is a joint contract between Buildings and Grounds and Parks Department. I'm happy to answer any questions. This too will go to City Council next week as they will approve their portion of it as well.
Any questions for the director? Dan?
Yeah, I see Big Green was the cheaper option, so what was your thinking with going with True Green? Was there a performance?
That's a typo. It's backwards.
Oh, is that?
Yep, thank you. I'll fix that before it goes to council.
I'm going to guess
So
Jimmy
were they
did that.
switched or?
Yeah. True Green is the lower
Okay.
company.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. That's just a typo. There's a lot of greens in there. You gotta keep your greens separate or.
You know, I would like to go with a local rainwater company. I don't know if that put any weight, but I see that the True Green is cheaper, so I'm fine with them going with that.
All right.
Bill, did you have a question?
All right, clarification. Is it True Green or Big Green?
It is True Green Partnership Limited is what the contract is for. So
And
forget
that's-
my staff report, look at the contract, and that's what's being recommended.
Okay.
There is a typo on my staff report.
Is that a 1-year contract?
It is 1 year with the option to renew
Okay.
additional 2 years.
Thank you.
You bet.
Any other questions?
Well, that's a big mistake. I probably should have caught.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I recommend we award a contract to True Green Limited Partnership for fertilization of city facilities.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Anybody?
Second it.
Okay, thank you, Simon. I hear a first and second. Any discussion? Got our green straight. Excellent. At that point, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor? Passes unanimously, 5-0, 4 absent. Didn't think we were going to get through that, so that's the good news. Item number 9, public comment. We are lacking the public, so we will move to board member comments. Start with you, Josh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you guys for coming today. I really appreciate you guys taking your time and coming tonight, and we appreciate everything you guys do. We really do. They take a lot of credit for it, but we know who does the real work. Thank you.
Dan.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the park staff. You guys are awesome. I've worked with a few of you in the past, and you've always been great to work with. Look forward to many more years working with you guys. Also, just want to mention again about the skate park. I'm real excited about it. I can't wait for construction to begin. I can't wait to see stuff moving around out there, and I'm just think that Rainwater's doing a lot of good things nowadays, and just glad to be a part of it. So thanks.
Simon.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, I don't know if it's proper or improper, but the gentleman in the back, I'd like to stand up and give him a round of applause.
Bill?
Yes, I also want to thank the staff out there. I know you make the superintendent look good, and he needs all the help he can get. And gentlemen, I have to admit, as a person who wears facial hair, I'm envious. So, anyway, I want to say I've seen you all working. I know you work hard. I appreciate everything you do. And if I don't come up to you personally at times to say that, I regret that. So here now, you'll hear from me periodically, I'm sure. But know this, I've never seen a harder working crew in my life. Thank you. You can say something now, Steve.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Again, gentlemen, I'll just echo what they're saying. You guys have done a great job. And you're behind the scenes. Same with Jimmy's crew. There's tons behind the scenes in his group. If it wasn't for you guys, we'd have nothing. So we appreciate all you do. We appreciate the guidance you get, the guidance we get from city council, the mayor, the citizens. We have an incredible town. For the size of the town we have, we sure do act like we're a way bigger town with all our amenities and the looks to it. So that's awesome. And that's all I have. So we'll move to adjournment. I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I've heard a first and second. All those in favor? Passes 5-0. 4 absent. Meeting's adjourned.
See you guys.